I know what you've been told. Pay off your student loans as fast as humanly possible. Throw every extra dollar at them. Don't breathe until they're gone. And honestly, that advice feels right. Debt feels like a weight, like something chasing you. Of course you want to kill it. But here's what nobody ran the actual numbers on. For millions of Americans right now, aggressively paying off student loans early is one of the most expensive financial mistakes you can make. I'm not saying ignore your loans. I'm saying there's a smarter way to handle them. And once you see the math, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's set the scene. The average federal student loan interest rate right now sits somewhere between 5% and 7%, depending on when you borrowed and what type of loan you have. That number matters a lot because 5% to 7% is what it costs you to carry the debt. But here's the question almost nobody asks. What does it cost you not to invest that money instead? The S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies in America, has averaged roughly 10% annual returns over the last 50 years. Even after inflation, you're looking at around 7% real returns historically. So let me ask you something. If your student loan costs you 5% per year to carry, and the stock market has historically returned 10% per year, what is the smartest place for your extra money? That's the question this video is going to answer. Let's run two scenarios. Real numbers. Meet Alex, 28 years old, $40,000 in federal student loans at 6% interest. Standard 10-year repayment plan. Minimum monthly payment, about $444. Alex has an extra $500 a month on top of that minimum. Scenario 1. Alex throws that $500 extra at the loans every month. Result? Alex pays off the loans in about 4.5 years instead of 10. Saves roughly $8,000 in interest. Feels great. Debt is gone. But then what? The loans are paid off. Alex starts investing at age 32 with $0 in the market. Scenario 2. Alex keeps paying the minimum on the loans and invests that $500 every month into a low-cost index fund from age 28. At 10% average annual returns over 10 years, that $500 a month grows to approximately $102,000. $102,000, while still paying off the loans on the normal schedule. Now yes, Alex paid about $8,000 more in loan interest in scenario 2. But Alex also ended up with $102,000 in investments instead of $0. The difference? About $94,000 in Alex's favor by choosing to invest instead of aggressively paying down the debt. And that gap keeps growing, because the money Alex invested at 28 has decades of compound growth ahead of it. Every year you delay investing is a year of compounding you can never get back. That's the real cost nobody talks about. Now, one important caveat here. This math works specifically for federal student loans in the 4% to 7% interest rate range. If you have private loans at 9%, 10%, 12%, the calculation changes. High-interest private debt is a different animal, and we'll cover that in a future video. But for most Americans with federal loans, the math is clear. There's a term for what we just described. It's called opportunity cost. Every dollar you send to your student loan servicer is a dollar that is not compounding in the market. And in your 20s and early 30s, those dollars are the most valuable of your entire life. Here's a number that might genuinely change how you think about money forever. $1 invested at age 25 at 10% annual returns becomes about $45 by age 65. $1 invested at age 35 becomes about $17. Same dollar, same return, 20 years of difference. Your loans will eventually be paid off no matter what. But the time you have to invest right now, in your 20s and 30s, that window does not come back. There's also something else most people ignore completely. Federal student loans come with protections that almost no other debt has. Income-driven repayment plans, deferment options, in some cases, forgiveness programs, depending on your profession or employer. When you race to pay off federal loans early, you're giving up those protections. You're treating the most borrower-friendly debt in America like it's a credit card. It's not. So here's the actual strategy. 3 steps. Step 1. Know your interest rate. Exactly. Log into your loan servicer account today. Find the exact interest rate on every loan you have. Write them down. The rule of thumb: if your loan rate is below 6%, investing almost always wins mathematically. If it's above 8%, pay it down aggressively. Between 6% and 8%, it's a judgment call, but at minimum, you should be doing both simultaneously. Step 2. Always capture your full employer 401k match first. Before you put $1 extra toward your loans, make sure you're getting every dollar of your employer match. That match is an instant 50% to 100% return on your money. No investment on earth beats that. If your employer matches 4% and you're only contributing 2%, you are leaving free money on the table every single paycheck. Step 3. After the match. Invest, don't overpay the loans. Once you've captured your full employer match, direct extra money into a Roth IRA or brokerage account before making extra loan payments. Max out your Roth IRA if you can. That's $7,000 a year in 2026. Invest in a simple, low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Set it and forget it. Then pay your loan minimums and let time do the rest. This strategy keeps your debt manageable, keeps the government's protections intact, and, most importantly, puts your money to work during the years when compound growth is most powerful. Look, I get it. Debt feels like the enemy. And there is something deeply satisfying about the idea of paying it off and being done with it. That feeling is real, and it's not wrong. But personal finance isn't about feelings. It's about math. And the math says, a 6% loan in a 10% return environment is not your biggest financial priority. Building wealth in your 20s and 30s is. The people who come out ahead financially are not always the ones who worked hardest or earned the most. They're the ones who understood which numbers actually matter and made their money move accordingly. So here's your action step for this week. Log in. Find your exact loan interest rates. Check if you're getting your full employer match. And if you have extra money going toward loans right now, consider redirecting it. One decision, this week, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars over the next decade. If this made you think differently, subscribe. Every week we break down the financial moves that actually move the needle.